It's me, your favorite cousin, your favorite brother, your favorite father, your best friend's best friend. It's me, Dr. Larry Smith. And welcome to the Living For You YouTube channel once again. You know what we do when we come here. We are here to have a plethora of wealth of information and a good time and connection between you and between me and all of us just coming together. How y'all doing today, by the way? You know you look good. You know you look good. And if that's any indication of how you are feeling, then you guys are doing well, wonderful, and great. So welcome, 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 welcome. As usual, as I always do, I want you guys to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend. Have a friend subscribe with you. When 1 + 1, that's 2 people, y'all come together and we get more subscribers and we keep growing and going. And then we could probably take this show out on the road and set the table out on the road. But anyway, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know when I release content. As you already know, and you can see in my header that I release content every Monday and Thursday. So go ahead and hit the notification bell so you know when I do. And then also follow me on social media. Instagram at Dr. Larry Smith, Facebook at Dr. Larry Smith. I'm here for you. And you can also leave comments and suggestions and like videos and everything. Let's keep this movement going. Welcome, 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 welcome. Today is actually very, very interesting. And I know that you guys read the title. I know you guys seen that. I know you guys looked at it. And yes, Donald Trump needs a life coach. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Now, here's my little disclaimer. This is not about politics. It's not going to get political on you. This is actually just pure fun, but it's also somewhat of my observation. The man needs a life coach. Based on what I have seen and based on my experience in dealing with people and even self-coaching, yeah, Donald Trump needs a life coach. Definitely. And now just to kind of give you the basis, not that long ago I released a video about emotions, and I categorized emotions into 2. Healthy emotions on one hand and unhealthy emotions on the other hand. And I even talked about how we express those emotions, and sometimes they're expressed in an unhealthy way, which is not the good thing, like through violence or through other things. You want to express your emotions in a healthy way, and that is very important. I also kind of covered the idea that a lot of our emotions are based on our thoughts. And we really can't control what happens around us, but we have full control over what we're thinking. So if we can manage our thoughts and we can manage how we think about certain circumstances, then we can deal better with our emotions and expressing our emotions and not causing some of the problems that we have from our emotions. And the reality of it is, it's all in your thoughts. Have you seen Donald Trump's Twitter account? Have you read through some of his tweets? Have you seen some of his videos and some of his responses to different things? Have you seen that? I've seen that. And based on what I have seen, I will say without a doubt that Donald Trump needs a coach. Because there's obviously certain things. There is obviously anger. And you can kind of see some of those anger things. And we're not going to get into the specifics of whether or not his anger is justified, because at the end of the day, as a certified life coach, for me, reasons, explanations, history, all that stuff is irrelevant. My sole purpose is to look at what you're expressing, look at what you're doing, and be able to help you to get to a more present place. I don't care why you're angry. I don't care why he's upset. I don't care any of that. My goal is to help you get to the present in a healthy space, right? All that other stuff is irrelevant to me, because that's what life coaches do. Our job isn't about the past. Our job isn't about the future or even the cause. It's really just about what we're seeing, the effect, and to help you to get present. So it is very much important for us to be able to acknowledge from what we see, our president needs a coach. Our president needs a life coach. Let me give you an example. The example of remember the Pelosi paper ripping pandemonium that was going on after he'd given his State of the Union. Nancy Pelosi ripped the speech. And I just want to start off by saying there's a high level of petty between these two, like some deep-seated pettiness that they're going back and forth in these little petty jabs at one another for whatever that reason might be. It's definitely there. But the point is, she ripped the speech up after publicly. And for him, it invoked emotions, obviously. Something that possibly was embarrassment. He probably felt disrespected. And so for a moment since then, he's been responding either via Twitter or publicly about this emotion that he has been having about the Pelosi paper ripping pandemonium that went on after his State of the Union address. So the point is here is that his response to something he couldn't change seems to be a little bit extra. He cannot control Nancy Pelosi. He cannot control the fact that she ripped his speech up. He had no parts of that. That was her choice. That was her doing. That was her thing. His job or his response should have been, it's not my deal, it's hers. I'm not going to even address it. But he's been addressing it because there's a thought that he has about it. One thing that I've seen that is a commonality of our president is that he does not like to be shamed or embarrassed. And it dated back to before he was president. I can recall when Barack Obama roasted him in a celebrity roast at some meeting in Washington. It's almost like he's been angry about that situation. This was during, I think, when he was running for president and all kinds of other things. And so I think he responded for years after that in response to that particular situation. So obviously there's something within him that has an issue with being publicly embarrassed or making to look like a fool or anything like that. He just does not like it. He does not accept it, and he responds usually in an unhealthy way towards it. So Pelosi's paper ripping pandemonium is just another incident for him to respond unhealthily as he has from it. And what he has to recognize is that there are things that are beyond his control. That might be a difficult task. I don't know him personally, but all of us have to remember that there are circumstances beyond our control. And so if it's beyond our control, you can't change it. So how you think about it is very important, because that you can change. That you can control. You can control your thoughts all day long. And so he would have to go back and say, you know what, I'm not going to allow these circumstances to cause me to respond in a negative way based out of my emotions. So I have to think about them, ingest them a little bit differently. And we know that that's a lot harder than it is, a lot easier said than it is done. But that's the point. That is the key. The key is that we're able to say, you know what, this is what I'm thinking about this. But let me change the thought if it's a thought that's not going to create a healthy feeling or emotion about it. And so Donald Trump's lesson is really a lesson for us all, right? We all have emotions. We all have thoughts. We all have feelings. And we all are either the victims or the recipients or the beneficiaries of some type of a circumstance, right? And so we have to be able to not express our emotions or allow our thoughts to create these emotions in which we express negatively about it. Now, it goes without saying, I don't think I should have to say this. If you are the leader of an entire nation, one of, if not the most important public figure on the world in politics, you gotta be able to manage your emotions, because things will come at you every which way. If we are to do a contrast and comparison of Barack Obama and Donald Trump, It's an obvious difference, right? Barack Obama faced just as much or more criticisms, rejections, taunts, negativity as Donald Trump, right? Presidents can attest to that. Whether you go George Bush, whether you go as far back as JFK, whether you go as far as back as John Adams, presidents have faced all types of things from all ways around. It's kind of part of the job. It's kind of like with me. I'm on YouTube. I post on YouTube, and people have not so positive things to say, and people have positive things to say. I cannot get emotional about none of them because people are entitled to their opinions. And at the end of the day, if it's not something I believe about myself, then it's not something that I'm going to get any type of thought or emotion connected to. I can just dismiss it as somebody just saying something that is stupid and that's in their imagination. It just is what it is. And presidents or any public figure, but especially one of the most prominent public figures across the world, has to be able to say, you know, I'm going to get garbage. It's going to be slanged at me all the time. And it is important that I am able to healthily manage those things. In the contrast to Barack Obama and Donald Trump, we see how they handle those things differently. Donald Trump responds unhealthily through Twitter, through public, when he gives interviews, he lashes out as though, you know, you're not going to taunt me. And then you see Barack Obama, who's able to just ignore it or smoothly deal with it in the way that he deals with it to not cause a public stir. Whatever political spectrum you are on, whatever political ideology you follow and subscribe to, all that's irrelevant. You can definitely see the distinct differences in how these two men deal with their thoughts and deal with their emotions about whatever circumstances that they're facing. And I would say 98% of the time, Barack Obama dealt with things in a more healthier way, emotionally, than Donald Trump. And like I said, this video isn't to shade Donald Trump. It isn't political propaganda. It is the simple observation of a life coach, right? And I'm sure you can go, we've seen it. Therapists and psychologists and other people have said the exact same thing. There is a level of unhealthiness in how he deals with whatever he thinks. Now, the psychologists want to go internally and try to dive in as to why. For me, it's irrelevant. I don't really care personally as to why he responds the way he responds. But the response is what I'm concerned with. And so how do we get to a place to where your thoughts, Mr. Trump, are allowing you to respond a certain way? So say, for example, how I would have dealt with the Nancy Pelosi paper pandemonium. I would have simply said, she ripped up the paperwork. While it is embarrassing, I'm not going to allow her action, that circumstance, to move me out of my place of peace. My thought is, I just delivered the State of the Union. I am happy with where the State of the Union is. I am okay with what I am doing. And I am comfortable in where we are now as a country. And numbers, if the numbers are showing that, the numbers are showing that. And so because of that, I'm not going to pay her response or whatever in really any mind. So in an emotion of peace, then I'm going to go on to my interviews and go on to my Twitter and post peaceful things, unity things, bringing the nation back together. Because obviously that's an expression of division, her ripping my speech. So I'm not going to feed into that by creating more division. I'm going to try to add unity and say, let's work together. Find ways we can work together on all kinds of issues. There's a lot of issues to deal with. Let's find ways we can work together. And in that way, my response will create whatever outcome that I get, which will be positive in that regard because I'm not paying the negativity any fuel or any fire. I'm not blazing it up. I'm keeping it very calm. And I'm sticking to positivity. And in that way, I come across as a strong, competent, confident leader. and not somebody who's going to respond negatively or unhealthy to everything that come against me in a position where that is inevitable. So this is why I say Donald Trump needs a life coach. Donald Trump needs somebody to sit him down and help him process his thoughts so that he does not act out of negative emotions in a negative way, because it's going to continue back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it just looks very terrible. Not just for the optics of it, the public view of it, but it creates an atmosphere. Whether we know it or not, when we're in leadership position, me as a teacher, or me as an influencer on YouTube, or an actor, or an athlete, or a politician, there are people who look to us as the standard of where we should be, how we should behave, how we should be treating one another and acting. And so if we are acting from a place of negativity, then we green light acting from that place. And there are some people who will follow regardless and will act from that same place. So we create an environment, an atmosphere of negativity, to me, that is completely unnecessary, should never exist. And so it's so important that as leaders, we handle our emotions and we manage our thoughts so that we're not acting in a certain way. So, like I said, this was not to shade the president. I don't care to do that. That's irrelevant to me. But just observation, and really, it's just pure fun, right? I look at different things in popular culture. I look at things that's going around, and I talk about them from a coach's perspective on what I see and what I observe and what I would do and what we should do and how we can manage to help the problem. Hopefully this goes out to somebody who takes it to the president and they hire him a life coach. Mr. President, you can email me at Dr. Larry Smith. I'm more than willing to help you directly manage your emotions a little better than you've been managing your emotions. I know it's funny, but hey, why not throw it out there? I'm willing to help people. My job is to help people live the best, most present, most healthy, most holistic life that they can possibly live. And that's through any means necessary. And whomever needs that. I personally myself go to a life coach, life coaches, to be able to maintain my mindset, to be able to help you, to be able to help myself, to have healing from past traumas. It's so important. I think everyone should have a life coach in their corner, somebody who is there to help them deal with the emotions that they deal with. Why not? And so if you're looking for a life coach, you got options. You got many, many options out there. And of course, I advertise for my own. It's Live For You Coaching, my life coaching practice at www.liveforyoucoaching.com. We can help you. I can help you. We can get you to the place to where you're managing your emotions. It's never too late. It's never too soon. There's no time limit. You can get the coaching you need and be the healthy person that you want to be. That's very important. So get what you need. Mr. President, I recommend that you do too. I hope y'all enjoyed this. So like I said, it's just a silly video. Thank you for coming to the table. Every time we come, it's not going to always be heavy and intense. Sometimes we just observe crazy things on TV or observe crazy things in the news, and we talk about it because that's what we do. Brother, we're here to grow together, and if we can't grow together, then there's a problem. So I want you guys to come back. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, continue to live happy, healthy, and a holistic life. See y'all next video.